Very superstitious. Riding on the wall. Very superstitious. Ladies and gentlemen, come on in. Riding on the wall. You believe in some, you just don't understand and you suffer. You believe in some, don't understand, and you suffer. Superstitious on the wall. Superstitious. Send it to. Okay. Tone sis. Very superstitious. You suffer. Throw your rollers in the sky, waving side to side. While I give her early eye. There, please, please. We got GB Floss and Jay gonna cover a fortune. Everybody come on in. We'll be starting shortly, getting some hydration going. I got a few things to do. Hmm. Make sure we have enough juice. Start the day, right? We got juice. We got juice. First, I need to get these albums. Let me see if I worked on these layouts. No, I did not. These will be quick, but I got to work on these layouts. You know how it is. I got to have them done. That one's done. Okay, so it's only these last ones. And we're going to get started. Just give a little color to these NFTs before we start the day. You already know what we're coming with over here. Player, nice. So I gotta finish these. Just released another album, so you gotta go with what works. Um, Actually, we could leave that on cue. We're gonna check the markets real quick. Let's see if we could do a module. All right, Team BlackRock and Team Blackstone. Let me put everything here ready for you guys. While we upload this, we're going to be working on a module, and I'll let you guys know what the module of the day will be. Open up your mind tools. Let's go business. We'll do a little technology, but let's go with learning skills. Mm, okay, okay. We're gonna go with Gardner's multiple intelligences, right? And let's build this up for you guys. Hmm. Weekly jobless claims, fewer than expected. Nope, disagree. Okay, Nokia to cut 14,000 jobs. Definitely gonna talk about that. Um, no, American Airlines beats profit estimates. That would be pretty cool. Let's see what that's about. Let's try that. American Airlines is one of those brands that people have been frequenting or following from the beginning. It's been a very solid investment in a sense, and I have to agree that I like that breakdown. Let me pause this media player because I don't want to partake in this. Oh, but I see what they did. They did an interactive combination. Okay, but we'll do the written part. Okay. Moving on. Let's see what else we got. Household wealth. This is Barron's. Nope, not working with them. Mm, CBS, Netflix. Nope, not doing that. Beijing weighs delaying approval of Broadcom deal. Nope, we did that already. Y'all late. Um, I'm thinking we could do. Let's do five here. Shane the fast fashion. Okay, let's do that. We're gonna do the article on Shane since they want to talk about their IPO, which is our concern from an investment standpoint. Fix my micro. Tesla keeps Bitcoin stash steady in Q3 CoinDesk. Um, all right, let's see what CoinDesk is talking about. See if there's any infraction here, because that's the thing. I go with what works. I don't like this nonsense where we're just trying to get to the data. So we'll check the precious metals. Make sure it's not taking up our time. Oh, I see what they did. They try to give me this mini player, which I'm not interested in. Nope, 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 nope. Don't you goddamn dare do that shit. Nope, not interested. Let's X this out. Not interested. Nope, don't want to see that. Not interested. Keep that away from my peripheral. Okay. So we got one, two. Let's do one more. Because I see that the market is kind of stagnant for the day. And we ain't having that. We ain't playing no them games. See what else we got. What else we got? Futures reach gains amid surging treasury yields. You know what I mean? 10-year treasury yield. Let's do that. So Let's start with the module and we'll go from there. All right? So, everybody get your digital platforms ready. We're going to go with Gardner's multiple intelligences. Okay, are we ready to rock and roll? Team BlackRock, Team Blackstone. Let's fire away. We're going live in 1 minute. So get your coffee, get your chai lattes, all of that, because we're going in today. And I send you guys a quick excerpt of the podcast of the day. So are we ready to roll? Let's rock and roll, baby. Garner's multiple intelligences, distinguishing individual profiles of intelligence. IQ tests work better for some people than others. And this is not simply for the obvious reason that some people are smarter. If you're good with words and logic, then the typical IQ test probably works well for you. But what if words and logic aren't your strong skills, but you're extremely good at what you do? Here, traditional IQ scores do not seem to be reflecting your true intelligence. A brief history of intelligence testing. The study of intelligence began in Paris in the late 1980s. I apologize, 1890s, with Alfred Binet, who developed a test designed to identify children with special educational needs. His approach of quantifying intelligence was then readily accepted in the United States and worldwide. Schools began testing children and adopting curricula that would help students improve their IQs. Getting into the right college or university is still often dependent on IQ and on tests like the SAT, Scholastic Achievement Test, that are derived from IQ tests. In the 1970s, Howard Gardner, a professor of education at Harvard University, started questioning the traditional definition of intelligence on which such tests were based. Gardner worked with talented children and adults who had brain damage. He found that people had many other gifts and talents that weren't necessarily reflected in the traditional ideas of intelligence. He used a variety of sources, including neurophysical and neurophysiological research and studies with autistic people, geniuses, and proteges, to support his model that various parts of the brain provide different types of intelligence. In 1983, Gardner published the book Frames of Mind, which outlined 7 different types of intelligence. 10 years later, he added an eighth type. This multiple intelligence MI theory became a popular model for understanding the many ways in which human intelligence exists. The multiple intelligences. The multiple intelligence theory, MI theory, claims that all humans have 8 intelligences to a lesser or greater extent, and that we each have a different intelligence profile. This profile is based on our genetics and our experiences, and it makes us unique from others. The intelligences are as follows. Number one, linguistic intelligence. This is the ability to use spoken and written language effectively to express yourself. Lawyers, writers, and speakers tend to have high linguistic intelligence. Number two, logical mathematical intelligence. This is the ability to analyze problems logically, work effectively with mathematical operations, and investigate issues using the scientific method. Finding patterns and deductive reasoning are other capabilities. associated with this intelligence. People working in the scientific and mathematical communities tend to be high in this type of intelligence. Number three, musical intelligence. This is the ability to perform, compose, and appreciate musical patterns, including changes in pitch, tone, and rhythm. Successful musicians, composers, and people involved in music production have high levels of musical intelligence. Number four, bodily kinesthetic intelligence. This is the ability to use the body for expression. People high in this intelligence use their physical coordination to master problems. Professional dancers and athletes are good examples of this. Number five. See? Number five. Okay. Spatial intelligence. This is the ability to recognize, use, and interpret images and patterns, and to reproduce objects in three dimensions. Successful architects, sculptors, and designers are likely to have high spatial intelligence. Number six, interpersonal intelligence. This is the ability to understand people's intentions, motivations, and desires. This intelligence allows individuals to work well with others. Professions like therapy, teaching, and sales attract individuals with high interpersonal intelligence. Number seven, interpersonal, intrapersonal intelligence. My apologies. This is the ability to understand yourself and to interpret and appreciate your own feelings and motivations. Therapists, actors, caregivers, and writers are all people who can bring high levels of personal awareness to their work. And lastly, number eight, naturalist intelligence. This is the ability to recognize and appreciate our relationship with the natural world. Astronomers, biologists, and zoologists are examples of professions with a high level of naturalist intelligence. This is the eighth intelligence that Garner added after first publication of this model. Spiritual and existential, asking the big questions, intelligence are two other areas that have been proposed, but these haven't been confirmed as official intelligence types. Testing multiple intelligences. As interest in Garner's multiple intelligences increased, interest in testing for the various intelligence types developed too. Garner and his colleagues looked at this issue and concluded that it was too difficult to create a valid test. To do so, he argued, you would have to include several performance measures. As an example, Garner said spatial intelligence would be a product of one's performances in such activities as finding one's way around an unfamiliar terrain, playing chess, reading blueprints, and remembering the arrangement of objects in a recently vacated room. Garner criticized the test for two key reasons. Number one, they don't measure performance. The questions are designed to find out a person's preferences, skills, interests, and abilities. Number two, the self reporting nature of these tests relies on having high self awareness. Garner's model says that not everyone has the necessary level of intrapersonal intelligence to answer test questions accurately. Limitations and criticisms of multiple intelligences theory. While the idea of multiple intelligences seems intuitively attractive, a key criticism is that no valid measurement tool is available. This has made MI difficult to prove. It is therefore accused of being ambiguous and subjective instead of objective. To further complicate the issue, proposed assessments are complex and expensive to design. Some people believe that the eight intelligences are not necessarily distinct, but that they're simply subsets of a general intelligence, often known as G, although the existence of general intelligence is itself the subject of controversy. Some also argue that Gardner's intelligences are better understood as cognitive styles or ways of thinking, rather than distinct types of intelligence. Using the idea, you guys will get tested on this. So, if this is Gardner's theory, how do we use it? Number one, it encourages us to respect and value more in people than the results given by a single dimension IQ test. In some roles, areas, and professions, standard IQ measurements may not be of much use at all. In many areas, standard intelligence genuinely does matter. Be careful not to throw the baby out with the bathwater here. Number two, it encourages us to treat the result of standard IQ tests with care and to supplement or replace them with tests more directly related to the job at hand. See our article on inbox assessment for one approach to this, and our articles on performance testing for many more. Here are your key points. Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences has created a new understanding of intelligence. It also emphasizes the importance of understanding what intelligence really is, and it's forced us to question the way we perceive intelligence. By breaking free of the limits of logical and linguistic intelligence, the MI model introduces a broader perspective and better appreciation for all the ways that people can deliver value. And while multiple intelligences theory has its critics, it's provided a much needed opportunity to look at the various ways in which we can express our different talents, abilities, and preferences. So, as entrepreneurs, as the multimedia company that you are, as the influencers, the franchise, and the brand, when you're building your team, you want to be able to highlight and overemphasize whatever intelligence differences in either execution or model structures for every person in your team, and you want to highlight and accentuate that. So that is my business advice of the day. Now let's move on to the markets very, very quickly before we get down to the nitty gritty. So open up your Baja app and let's check the markets real quick. Let's see how the market is moving. Let's do precious metals. We're gonna do currencies. We're gonna do crypto, which as you can see has a new section. Let's see the market overall. Cotton plus 1.46%. Lean hogs comes in at number two. You have the Bitcoin ETF up 0.88%. Coffee is up 0.86. Antex Composite is in the green 0.78%. Platinum is the number one metal today, up 0.68% at time of recording. Bitcoin is up 0.65%. And the Nero spot gold is up plus 62%. I don't even want to go into oil, but let's go to commodities. Gold stands today at $1,956.97 per ounce. Silver, $22.94. Platinum, $893.74. Palladium, $1,089.54. Copper 3M is killing them, $7,972.65 at time of recording. Corn is $4.95 a pallet. Rough rice is $15 a pallet. Cocoa is $3,627 a pallet. And sugar is $27.41. You know, we made a study on silver. Silver is $22.90 an ounce. So that means that the pallet of sugar is more expensive today than an ounce of silver. It's no joke, B. It is no joke right now. All right, let's look at the Nasdaq 100, sitting at 14,973, 989 at time of recording. S&P TSX 60 in Canada, 1166 and 68. S&P Merval Index for Argentina, 789,907.31. Small cap 600 index 1123.99. The DAX 15,053 and 88 cents. Baja Germany 40 15,035.01. Germany's been killing it, yo. Germany's been really killing it the last few weeks. Baja 100 UK 7,514 and 70 cents. And the CAC 40 in Canada 6,923 and 24 cents. Baja France 40 6,920. So Canada and France are neck and neck right now. Even though, remember, 2 weeks ago all the money was in Asia. Last week it winded up somehow, for some reason, it was in London. And here we go again. Let's see how we're doing. Shanghai Stock Exchange 3,539 cents. Moving on, currencies. What we got? What we got? What we got? You know, they separated crypto, but let's go with the 10-year bond, which we're going to talk about right now. 105.7188, down 0.07%. 30-year bond down 0.06% at 109.0625. Libor 33M 5.67743, up and in the green 0.34%. Denmark is up 0.61% at 4.143. That's crazy. Bonds, 10-year treasury bonds. They're not even offering the 30-year over here. ETFs, Vanguard. What's Vanguard doing? S&P 500 ETF exchange, 395.40, up 0.05%. I keep telling y'all, man, take that 5%. That's the only thing available right now. And hot stocks, baby. AT&T plus 6.39%. Las Vegas Sands Corp plus 3.45%. Union Pacific Corp plus 4.21%. American Airlines plus 3%. Trust Financial Corp plus 216. Wynn Resorts Limited plus 2.36. Further Bancorp plus 1.77. Xilex Incorporated plus 259. Biorad Laboratories plus 128. And Netflix up 0.331. So take that 5%. Losers. Tesla down 7.93% at 225.39. Discover Financial Services down 7.22. Rollins Incorporated down 6.49. Genuine Parts Co. down 6.46%. Zion Bank Corporations NA down 6.01%. So notice how the losers are down between 6 and 8%. The gainers are up between 2.5, 3 to 6%. So let's round it off to 5. Take the 5%. Be smart. Don't be greedy. So let's go with our top 20 coins. Bitcoin dancing right now, 28,500.734. Ethereum, 1,555.8091. Monero, 151, still killing them. Litecoin, 61.15. Bitcoin Cash, 228.87. That's a buy on my rating. Dogecoin, 0.058. I stay away from it. Polygon, 0.51%. Cosmos, yo, shout out to Polygon. Cosmos, 6.24. XRP Ripple, 0.48%. Tron, 0.89. Tron, home run. Whoever rode the wave with me, ain't time to cash out. But if you need the money, cash out. All right, Solana, 24.20. Polkadot, 3.62. Avalanche, 8.92. Binance Coin, 210.7. 210. So Binance Coin is right below Bitcoin Cash. I will still trust Bitcoin Cash a little bit more. Uniswap 3.9. Cardano 0.24. That's a buy rating. Toncoin $2, almost 7 cents. That's a buy. Chainlink 7.37. That's a buy. Stellar Lumens 0.103142. That's a buy. And Shiba Inu still dancing at 0.507. I say hold on Shiba. So very quickly, let's do tech. Ooh, okay. Somebody's in trouble. Let's go with tech news and we'll move on to the markets, okay? U.S. Congress inquires Bezos on possible Alexa misinformation. United States Senator from Minnesota Amy Klobuchar, a member of the House of Representatives from New York's 25th District, Joseph Morrell, sent a letter dated Thursday to Amazon.com's Incorporated founder Jeff Bezos, requesting details on the procedures that the virtual technology Alexa uses to avoid spreading misinformation and disinformation ahead of the 2024 presidential elections. In a letter published by the Washington Post, the politicians claimed that when asked about the results of the 2020 elections, the virtual assistant seemed to have replied with information provided by contributors instead of verified news sources. The lawmakers stressed the importance of giving trustful information to voters, even more when some ballots for the 2024 election are being sent out as early as this December. Amazon.com is up today 1.96% at 130.71. Let's see what else we got over here. Let's go Coinbase real quick since we were talking about Binance Coin, right? Coinbase chooses Ireland as main EU regulatory hub. Coinbase Global Incorporated told CNBC in an interview posted on Thursday that it decided to pick Ireland as its main European Union operational and regulatory hub. The company put forward an application with the Central Bank of Ireland to obtain a license under the bloc's new markets in crypto assets MICA regulation. Should the application be approved, Coinbase will acquire a universal MICA license in Ireland, which it will then be able to use in other countries outside of the EU. This will make it easier for the company to conduct business and place new products in this market without having to apply for individual licenses in each country of the bloc. Coinbase Global Incorporated is up 0.42% at 74.20. Ethereum, as you know, stands at 1555.63 and Bitcoin 28,508 even at time of recording. Okay. All right. So now let's move on. This is funny. All right. So let's move on. Please log on to cnbc.com/markets and we're going to go find out about our bonds. 10-year treasury yield reaches 4.98% on signs of still strong jobs market. Shout out to Young Lee for helping us out today. All right. Here we go. Treasury yields rose on Thursday with the 10-year rate pushing closer to the key 5% level. See, I keep telling y'all 5%. As investors awaited remarks from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, the yield on the 10-year Treasury jumped 4 basis points to 4.94%. It had touched as high as 4.98% earlier in the session, trading at levels last seen in 2007 after first crossing the 4.9% mark on Wednesday. The benchmark rate has climbed for 4 days in a row, bringing October gains to about 40 basis points. The 2-year Treasury yield was last 2 basis points higher at 5.23%, hovering at levels last seen in 2006. Yields and prices have an inverted relationship, and 1 basis point equals to 0.01%. The next stop, 5.0, is in the tens, wrote Ian Lingwin and Benjamin Jeffrey of BMO in a note Wednesday. It's a given at this point. Strategists cite a number of reasons for rising yields. Concern that the Feds will keep benchmark rates high to fight inflation, an economy and labor market that consistently outperform expectations, swelling government deficits, requiring more supply to hit the market as the Feds has pulled back as a buyer, an increase in the so-called term premium, which is the extra yield investors demand as they worry that rates could change over the term that they have to hold the bond. A New York Fed calculation indicates that the term premium is around its highest level since May of 2021. All eyes will be on Fed Chairman Powell, who is expected to echo comments from the other Fed officials who have indicated that rates will likely remain elevated for longer. Markets largely expect the Fed to stay on hold with rates, but they will be looking to Powell for confirmation and clarification. A few Fed speakers have suggested that rates may not need to be hiked further, and keeping them at their current level would be sufficient to achieve the Fed's goals of easing inflation and cooling the economy. Some policymakers have cited tighter financial conditions brought on by surging Treasury yields as a contributing factor. Fed Governor Christopher Waller said on Wednesday that the central bank was in a position to wait, watch, and see how the economy evolves before making decisions about interest rates. Waller added that he is considering various data points to assess whether the Fed's monetary policy moves so far are having the desired impact. On the data front, initial filings for unemployment benefits dipped last week, indicating that the U.S. labor markets remain tight. Weekly jobless claims totaled 198,000 for the period ending October 14th, below the Dow Jones estimate for 210,000. CNBC's Sophie Kitterlin contributed reporting. Very good. Let's move on to Coindesk. Please log on to Coindesk.com, today's sponsor of the day. And here we go. Finance. Tesla keeps Bitcoin stash steady in Q3. Tesla did not buy or sell any Bitcoin in the 3 months that ended the month of September by Omkar Goodboli. Tesla's Bitcoin holdings held steady in the third quarter, the US based car manufacturer's new earnings report revealed Wednesday. The quarterly report did not mention Bitcoin, implying that the firm did not buy or sell any Bitcoin in the 3 months ending in September. The holding was valued at 184 million at the end of the third quarter and has remained unchanged for the fifth consecutive quarter. Tesla still has the third largest Bitcoin holdings for a public company, estimated to be 9,720 Bitcoin, according to a Bitcoin Treasury.net. Its holding is only overshadowed by MicroStrategy, MSTR, and Marathon Digital Holdings, MARA. The firm, led by crypto pro-founder Elon Musk, invested 1.5 billion in Bitcoin in February 2021, reportedly accumulating around 43,000 Bitcoin tokens. In the same month, Tesla said it would begin accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment. The company, however, walked back on its intention in the subsequent months. It sold 4,320 Bitcoin in the first quarter of 2021 and liquidated 75% of the remaining balance at a hefty loss that year. Tesla reported a net income of 1.85 billion for the July to September quarter, registering a 44% decline from a year earlier, with earnings per share falling to 53 cents from 95 cents. Shares of Tesla were down 4.78% at 242.68 on Wednesday. And we already confirmed this down 7.66% is at 225 at the moment, time of recording. Give me one quick second. Let me double check. Okay. So shout out to you, Omar. Good looking out. All right. Back on CNBC.com. Please log on to CNBC.com. Today's sponsor of the day. Retail. Shane, the fast fashion darling mulling a U.S. IPO opens up about forced labor data privacy by Gabrielle Farage. Here we go. It's no secret that Shane has ambitions to go public, but the fast fashion juggernaut will have to overcome a slew of hurdles before it can win over Wall Street. The digital native retailer skyrocketed to prominence during the COVID 19 pandemic after shoppers across the globe fell in love with its fashion forward designs, endless assortments, and dirt cheap prices. The company has a reported valuation of $66 billion and has tapped former Bear Stearns investment banker Donald Tang to be its executive chair and public face. As Shane looks to transform itself from a $5 t shirt company into a global powerhouse, equipped to compete with legacy retail giants, a public offering has long been rumored to be its end goal. But as it tries to cap off its meteoric rise with a U.S. market debut, those ambitions have been mired by its ties to China, along with mounting allegations that it uses forced labor in its supply chain, violates labor laws, harms the environment, and steals designs from independent artists. Shane is taking steps to address those issues and show U.S. regulators and Congress that it can be trusted to go public in the United States, where scrutiny of businesses founded in China has intensified in recent years. The company is facing increased pressure from lawmakers, including an investigation from the newly formed House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, and has found itself caught in the geopolitical rivalry between the US and Beijing. IPO investors right now want to see a straightforward story. Matt Kennedy, a senior IPO market strategist for Renaissance Capital, told CNBC, I could certainly see some perspective or prospective investors just wanting to avoid the deal entirely, at least until some of those things are resolved. If Shane can overcome these hurdles while maintaining the strategy that has fueled its success, it could become a winner on Wall Street, said one longtime retail advisor who spoke anonymously because they're not authorized to speak publicly about specific companies. For the all bad press and publicity and news, they've been incredibly innovative in how they're reproducing product. So that to me says they've got something really good there that other retailers can learn from, said the advisor. They have to deploy their innovation in a way that's going to address these issues. And if they can do that in a way that they still have the same kind of compelling business on top, then wow, they are winning. Shane told CNBC it has not filed to go public. It doesn't have plans for a public offering. Still, reports have suggested an initial public offering could come as soon as 2024. Here's what the company will need to overcome before it can turn that dream into a reality and what it's doing to get there. Forced labor and battle with Congress. The House panel has been investigating Shine since May after it heard expert testimony that the company was sourcing cotton and a range of other materials from China's Xinjiang region several months earlier. Bloomberg tested garments the company shipped to the United States and found some had been made with cotton from Xinjiang. Evidence of genocide, torture, and forced labor against the Uyghur ethnic group in the region prompted lawmakers to ban the import of cotton and other products made in Xinjiang in 2021. But critics say the items can still get past U.S. borders because of a tariff law loophole known as the minimus. Under the provision, packages valued under $800 are not charged import duties and aren't subject to the same oversight from U.S. Customs, which is tasked with screening packages to ensure items from banned regions don't come into the country. Contrary to traditional retailers that typically import large batches of merchandise and send them to US based warehouses for distribution, Shane often ships its products directly to American consumers through its network of Chinese suppliers. The committee is investigating Shane over concerns that Uyghur forced labor is being used in a supply chain and has gone undetected because of the de minimis provisions. Similar probes into Temu, Nike, and Adidas are ongoing. The panel in June determined the vast majority of products Shane ships to the United States are less likely to face the same level of customs scrutiny that other retailers might face on a formal entry. The committee has not yet drawn conclusions about forced labor in Shein's supply chain. A committee aide told CNBC the probe is ongoing. In response to the investigation, some Shein executives have spent time at its Washington, D.C. outpost to meet with lawmakers and try to assuage their concerns. As a company that abides by every single logical law, we're processing and going to cooperate with any investigation and provide any information that's requested from us. Marcelo Claudere, the company's newly minted group vice chair and former SoftBank CEO, told CNBC in an interview. When asked about claims of forced labor in Shane's supply chain, Couture told CNBC he doesn't believe those allegations are correct. I can wholeheartedly say that there's no such thing as forced labor or anything even close to that as it relates to the Shane manufacturers that I visited in China, Clara said, referencing visits he made in the past. However, the company previously acknowledged that cotton from Xinjiang has been found in its raw materials through Oratane, a third party supply chain from that can attest cotton fibers and trace them to specific farms. Oratane works with a range of major retailers, including Target, Costco, and Ralph Lauren. On average, 13% of Oratane's cotton tests come up positive for problematic regions, Rupert Hodges, Oratane's chief commercial officer, told CNBC. As of July, 2.1% of Shane's cotton tests came up positive for unapproved regions, Shine said. Oratane confirmed the results with CNBC. When a test came up positive, production of affected products was stopped, and any products containing cotton associated with the positive test were removed for sale, a Shine spokesperson said. The company declined to share test results from August on, but said they've remained consistent with the inspections conducted through July. A Shane spokesperson pointed out the positive test rate is lower than the fashion industry average, but said any positive test is unacceptable. The retailer has committed to no longer using Chinese cotton in its production because the vast majority of it comes from Xinjiang and is pushing to get its positive test rate as close to zero as possible, a spokesperson said. However, forced labor can still show up in other parts of the supply chain, said Chloe Cranston, the head of thematic advocacy programs at Anti Slavery International. Shine relies on thousands of contracted manufacturers, mostly in China, to design, produce, and ship its products. Workers at those factories could be there against their will under state sponsored labor transfer programs, said Cranston. It's not only about where the cotton is coming from, it's how it's ginned, it's how it's spun, and how it's turned into final product, and so on. And we see Uyghur forced labor risk across all these tiers. Cranston told CNBC. Oriton or comparable companies are part of the solutions, but they aren't the sole solution themselves. In response, the company said internal chain auditors and third party firms conduct regular and unannounced audits of its manufacturing facilities to ensure they're not engaging in forced labor or other violations. In 2022, 11% of audits turned up zero tolerance violations, including child labor, forced labor, and wage violations, and 28 suppliers were terminated as a result, according to the company. However, the audits only cover a fraction of Shane's sprawling supply chain. Last year, Shane audited just 1,941 manufacturers out of about 5,400 in total suppliers. The audited contractors accounted for about 85% of Shane brand products by procurement value, but represented less than half its suppliers, which provides a limited view of the retailer's supply chain and how widespread labor violations are. Outside of its Shane brand, the company also produces items under sub brands, including Daisy, Kuko, and Glowmo. Shane has ramped up audits this year and plans to conduct inspections that cover 90% of Shane brand products by procurement value, a company spokesperson said. Chinese ties and a new home in Singapore. As Shane looks to sanitize its reputation amid rising geopolitical tensions between Washington and Beijing, it's quick to point out that it's based on Singapore and merely founded in China. By some accounts, Shane was founded by Nanjing, China in 2008, but the company's official origin story began in 2012. Any reference to Shane's birthplace are absent from the About sections on its website. It's registered its headquarters in Singapore in 2019 and has been based there since 2021. A Shane spokesperson said the retailer appears to have deregistered its original company in Nanjing in 2021, according to reports. Shane's decisions to move its headquarters to Singapore several years ago and plant seeds outside of China could help pave the way for its IPO, said Zhang Wei, a professor who teaches Chinese business and economy, as well as finance and economics at Columbia University's graduate schools. As long as Shane's imports and exports mass amounts of products in and out of China, a top priority for the region, it could remain in the Chinese Communist Party's good graces as Beijing looks to curtail foreign investment, said Wei. If Shane can credibly claim it's not a Chinese company, it will reduce the sensitivity in the United States at the same time vis a vis Chinese regulators. If Shane can claim it's not a Chinese company, then presumably many of the regulatory requirements from the Chinese security regulations side do not apply to Shane as well, Wei told CNBC. Still, the bulk of Shane's sprawling supply chain remains in China, and its move to Singapore has done little to quell concerns from lawmakers. Some are worried the company is still closely aligned with the Chinese government and fear data about Shane's American customers could wind up in its hands. As long as you're in China or in the Chinese territory, that means the CCP has got their hooks into you. I am not convinced that the CCP does not have control over all of these companies. Montana's Attorney General Austin Knudsen told CNBC in an interview, if the CCP demands information and demands your company's cooperation, you're going to give it to them. So, no, being in Singapore does not make me feel better. We agreed that Shane's exposure to China in its supply chain could be a risk for the company. If the Chinese government does want to limit the company, of course, it has many ways, as long as Shane depends on China based suppliers, said Wei. In response to concerns about data security, a Shane spokesperson said it stores US data with or within Microsoft and Amazon's cloud services in data centers and regions located within